Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
All right, guys, today's show is brought to you by People's Choice Beef Jerky, LA's original small batch beef jerky. It's a family business from California that's been making quality jerky for over 85 years. Unlike mass-produced beef jerky, People's Choice beef jerky is marinated, sliced, and cooked by hand. That's right, People's Choice beef jerky is handmade in small batches. And let me tell you, Lewis and everybody else, listen, this stuff is delicious. For me, when I'm driving and I'm on the road, I pull over at a gas station. I buy some beef jerky because it's just protein. There's no carbs. You know, it's very healthy for you. It's a healthy snack. But a lot of the big named beef jerky, realistically, it tastes like plastic. This stuff from People's Choice, it tastes like beef. No bullshit, no chemicals, just beef dried out with, flavoring, salt and pepper, whatever you name it. But I'm telling you, this is the best stuff, the best quality product I've ever had. When it comes to beef jerky, People's Choice is by far the best I've ever had, Lewis.
Yeah, they really are. And that's a big difference. Once you actually have good quality jerky, you're never going to want to go back. And not to hate on anything else. Look, if you're at a gas station, you're on the road, you can only get something once in a while. You know, you got to get it, right? But this is real deal quality. You could taste the difference. Michael Bisping's eating it right now. We're not lying about this. We're not bullshitting about this. It really is a great. Because
a lot of, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but a lot of other beef jerky, when you taste it and you chew it, it's like plastic. It almost breaks your teeth. This stuff is soft. It's succulent. It's juicy. It tastes very fresh. It's amazing. And if you want some, Lewis, tell them how to get some.
Website is peopleschoicebeefjerky.com. That is PEOPLES choice CHOICEBEEFJERKY.com, all spelled out. And if you use the promo code BYM15, you save 15% off your entire order. Go stock up. Maybe you're afraid that there's an impending, World War III is coming. Guess what? Go spend thousands of dollars on beef jerky. Load up in your basement. Maybe you just want to have some healthy snacks. Maybe you're working out, getting back in shape for the summer. It's a great healthy snack. We love it. Michael Bisping just won't stop. He's talking about how much Rebecca, his wife, eats it in the household. It's her new favorite snack as well. You can be like Michael Bisping's wife as well. PeoplesChoiceBeefJerky.com. Promo code BYM15. Save 15%. All right, let's start the show.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Here we are. We're back. Episode 115. We ain't fucking around, motherfuckers. Michael Bisping looking great over
Jesus, there. Lewis.
What?
Coming in a little hard with the offensive F-bombs right off the bat.
That's the offensive F-bomb.
if nobody's heard the show before, and the first thing you say is 2 F-bombs right off the bat, it's like, they'll be like, oh, God. We got to suck them in a little bit, Lewis. Suck them in.
You do love sucking people in.
You got to suck them in. Listen, if there's one thing I can do, Lewis, I can suck a motherfucker in real fast.
I know.
Real fast, babe. Coffee, shut the door.
Now that you have your nose fixed, you can breathe through your nose, too, while you do it. It's pretty incredible.
My nose is still very swollen, but it's gradually going down. There is still swelling. I would like a coffee, please, Rebecca. But it's I can breathe, but sucking them in, yeah.
Have you noticed anything with the surgery yet, though? Like has it improved anything so far?
No, not so far, because it's still healing. Still, I'm in a lot of pain with my ribs. I'll tell you that. The doctor kind of downplayed that part, because obviously he took a piece of rib and rebuilt my nose with cartilage and bone, and that is super, super painful. I can breathe through the nose. I'm not waking up in the night with a super dry mouth, so that's good. But there's still a lot of swelling there. It's only 3 weeks today, but as I said, don't swear immediately. Give it a few seconds. We've got to wow them with our intellect. We've got to show them, wow, these guys are really funny. They're really intelligent. I want to sit here and I want to listen to what they've got to say. And I feel also that now we've come far enough. We've got to stop just saying episode whatever. It would just welcome to the show. We're here. Deal with it.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now. I don't want to contradict you. This is your show, but you do say fuck in the intro. I mean, it's in the intro. The first thing is conceive, believe, achieve, shut the fuck up. that's the note we start off on, no matter what way we slice it. So I'm just riding the wave. I'm riding the Bisping wave.
Yeah, but that's riding the precedent that I set.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
Bisping's
following your lead.
Okay, all right, but you're right. But that's the intro, and it's in my opinion, an iconic. Maybe not in anybody else's. It's an iconic expression that will go down hundreds of years from now. People will say, "Michael Bisping said it best."
I think Michael Bisping said it best.
He did.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. But this Saturday morning, Lewis, I went to the doctor. 7 years ago, when I was training for a fight, I first moved out to America. Wrestling is the most injury-prone aspect of mixed martial arts training. And I was wrestling, and I really, really hurt my neck. And I pinched a nerve, C5, C6, and I had MRIs and all that done, and they could clearly see. And it got to the point where I couldn't even do bench press with a bar because it was like the right side was so weak. It was ridiculous. I couldn't do a bench press. My right side was really, really bad. And even if you see me with my shirt off, the whole right side of my body, my pec, my shoulders, my bicep, everything isn't nearly as gargantuan as my left side.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Which is award-winning.
Yeah.
You know, but my right side is they're like, your good side. I'm like, well, I have a good eye on this side and I have good biceps and good pecs. This side, bad eye. It was it wasn't Vitor Belfort. It was the neck injury. Yeah. The whole right side just went out like the window. Cyborg. Yeah. So I just learned to deal with it, and the strength slowly came back. But now it's got so bad, I've had to start looking into it again, because sometimes, like it's happened when I was working at Fox, I was with Kenny Florian and Karen Bryant, and then I just got, and I kind of have like the right side of me all paralyzes up, and everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" I did this show for Netflix, and it happened there, and they thought I was having a heart attack. I'm like, "No, it'll pass, it'll pass." And then it does pass. This morning I sneezed, and like all my rib cage like kind of cramped up, and you just got to take some deep breaths.
The right side of your body, the right side of your body completely shuts down 3 times a week, and you have to convince everyone around you that you're not having a stroke. That's what I'm laughing at. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Basically, yeah, I was filming that show for Netflix in Rochester, New York at 4:00 in the morning. I sneezed, and obviously that jolted the spinal cord, the nerves or whatever. And I started having like a mini fit, and everyone's like, what is going on? What is going on? I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. Anyway, I at the time, I went to have it looked at, and he said, "Oh, here's what we're going to do." I went to see this doctor in Beverly Hills, and he said, "What we're going to do is," and he pulled out this fake disc. He said, "We're going to go in through the front of the neck, and we're going to remove the disc, and we're going to insert this new disc into your spine." I'm like, "No, you're not." I never said that. I'm like, "Oh, okay, very good, very good." Lose my number. Never went back to him again. I'm like, it's a little bit of loss of strength. I'll deal with it. But it's been 7 years. Saturday morning, I went there. I had a nerve conduction test. They put all these like things on your arm, and then they basically electrocute you. And with a machine, they measure the nerve readings. And long story short, it's pretty bad. And they're saying I've got to have neck surgery, which I'm not really looking forward to.
Really? Well, when you hear neck surgery, when you hear brain surgery, heart surgery, anything where it's like a major, like, it sounds so bad. But really what I'm asking you, is this going to affect the podcast? Because I got to know.
No, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not having surgery. I'm not a guy that does rehab and all that. I'm too stubborn for my own good. But this year, and this is why this came about, I said I'm taking care of all my injuries. That's why I got my nose done. I'm getting my knees done. And I want to get the neck taken care of. Boob job, facelift.
Butt lift.
You know, butt implant. That's what I'm going for, Lewis, the implant. You know, I want to twerk a little bit. I want to show off what I've got, bro.
Instagram model. I love it.
If you've got it, flaunt it, Lewis. You know what I'm saying? So that was a bit of bad news Saturday, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, you with your extensive MMA career, you know this, Lewis. You know. Oh, you got it working. Yeah. Can you put it in the place? My wife got the light working. I was wrestling with it for quite some time. All right. Put
Sometimes
it in the place.
You need a woman. The lovely Rebecca Bisping in the background. The fans are very excited.
Put it on the lowest. Whoa.
And the lowest. Now, here's the thing. The other thing, they see Rebecca Bisping, and it makes sense because you're Michael Bisping, former UFC middleweight champion of the world. You're a handsome guy. But the reality is, like, you know, it's your status as a celebrity and as a professional fighter that would afford you the ability to get such a beautiful woman. But little known fact, she was with you when you were a fucking lowly DJ in England. I mean, there was
£50 a week.
and she didn't care.
Do you know the first ever interaction I had with her was this? I worked at this place. It was called Ultra Frame. It was like the big employer in the little town that I'm from. Of course, I wasn't good enough to actually be an employee. I was temping through an agency, and back then, you know, hanging out with my friends was more important. You know, so I very rarely put in a full week. And I was there one day, and I'd been out, and I got up in a rush. And I put on these brand new tracksuit bottoms that I just bought. And I really liked these tracksuit bottoms, you know what I mean? And I didn't have much money. I'm like, should I wear my new trackies to work? I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And I wear my new trackies and my new trainers, sneakers. And I went to work, and I'm doing whatever I did. And it was, they made conservatories, but we worked on, we'd file down some pieces of plastic and metal, and then we'd wrap them up in cardboard and put them on a wagon. Very, very menial tasks. But Rebecca worked in the offices, and the office workers there thought they were so highfalutin, they really did, strutted about as Rebecca. But I used to see her walking across the shop floor. I used to think, wow, she's really good looking. She's beautiful. And she walked across one day, and she was walking towards me, and there was all these long, like 10-foot long pieces of metal in like a trolley that was very heavy. Now, she could have made it through, but I wanted to get her attention. So I ran over, acted like I was being a gentleman, to pull the pieces of metal out the way, when they didn't really need it. But they were heavy, so I had to really pull hard. So when I pulled hard, but then I let go, because I'd set the wheels in motion, they carried on moving, right?
Right.
And she walked through, and the piece of metal carried on, ripped all my tracksuit bottoms and stabbed my leg pretty hard, and blood. I had a pretty good cut on my leg, right? So I'd done this for her, like the knight in shining armor, and she cut my leg open, and she didn't even acknowledge me. Didn't even say thank you. Just walked by, nose in the air, loser on the shop floor. He's only temping. He's not even a real employee. Don't even speak to me, okay? That
so
was
what
our
happened,
first
though? How
interaction.
did you end up speaking with her?
I was outside a nightclub. There's
so
one
you saw her
nightclub in
again?
the local area.
Okay,
I
so
saw her
this is a
again at the
small
nightclub.
town.
It's a small town. There's only one nightclub called Rio's that was close to us. And I don't want to paint the wrong picture, but I'd been ejected from the nightclub. I'd been ejected from the nightclub. I may have had a little scrap, but this was a long time ago. So I'm outside waiting for a taxi, or I was waiting for a taxi. I wasn't there. I definitely wasn't chatting up any birds that were walking along.
Of course.
I was waiting for a taxi.
Definitely not
walk.
waiting. Definitely not waiting to see that guy again that you had gotten that scrap earlier in the night.
No, possibly doing that. I'm like, motherfucker, he's gonna leave sometime.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Maybe that's right though. And then she walks up, and I'm like, oh hey, Miss Ultra Frame. And it kind of went from there, and being the charming son of a bitch that I am, got a phone number. And
question, because this is actually really interesting, because it is Valentine's Day on Thursday, so this is actually a great topic to even be bringing this up, though. Let me guess, because you're a charming son of a bitch, whether you got a UFC strap around your waist or not, you had the wherewithal to bring up in the shop you cutting your leg when you saw her again.
No, I didn't. No,
You
no,
didn't?
I did eventually. Yeah, after like a couple of times hanging out with her. I was like, you remember our first interaction? She's like, no. I'm like, yeah, well, I do. I can show you. The cut is still healing. It's still got a nasty scab. It might have got a little bit infected. I might have had to go to the doctor and get antibiotics, near death experience. Yeah. But you didn't care, because you were in the offices and I was just a lowly employee.
And she remembered none of
factory.
this.
She remembered none of it.
Wow.
Not a single goddamn thing.
Yeah, I would have assumed you would have used that to start the conversation, because that's what I would have done. It would have been a perfect end point, but you were just you were hammered. You're like, hey, hello, come on with me, mate.
Well, it wasn't quite like that, but kind of.
Yeah.
No, she was with her cousin. I didn't take her home or anything like that. I got a phone number. That was it. But I never called.
You said to run into her again?
I just ran into her again, yeah, because I wasn't working there by this point. As I said, that employment didn't last very long. But it's a small town. I knew I'd see her again. And this was before everyone had a mobile phone or a cell phone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to call the house. The mom answers. I was like, hello. I always used to be terrible in those situations. I was very, very bad. I was backwards at coming forward. So I thought I'll just wait till I see her about when I'm drunk.
That is the great thing about living in like, I mean, it's a small town, but even more so back then, it's like there was a courting process that was like almost like a little more natural. In like high school, you would like see the girl that you liked and you'd like fucking see her in, sixth period, French class or whatever it is. And that's the only time you would talk to her. And like, it was just a different thing. I think even in a small town, you just run into them in these little areas. In New York City, it's just not happening,
But well, no, for sure. I mean, I'm assuming there's so many people there. You're never going to randomly bump into the same person twice, unless you go into the same, I don't know, you're in the same area, you work in the same building, going to the same coffee shop or whatever. But I mean, these days it's so easy. I mean, this is a whole new thing to me that I've obviously never been a part of, but Tinder and all this type of stuff, you just go on your phone. If you want to get laid, you just go on. Is it Tinder? You go on Tinder and just
Bumble.
swipe. And you say,
what's the new one, Shannon?
Yeah.
There's got to be a new one, right?
Hinge. Yeah.
Shannon knows them all.
Shannon's
I've had them all on my phone for like a day or two, and then I just delete it.
Yeah, but
have you had any success? And how many people have you laid from the various apps for sex on your phone?
I don't have sex, Mike. It's been almost a year. It's been over 10 months. But yeah.
All the believers listening are very disappointed right now. You're shattering the image that they have. They all think they've got a chance with you, Shannon.
Well, there's the chance. Like I haven't, my standards are lowering by the minute.
The microphone's actually in her vagina right now. She's speaking. That's
very
pretty,
talented.
She's sending whale vibrations from her vagina. Yeah. That's how she's
calling me a whale.
It is Valentine's Day this week, Lewis. Obviously, what do? Do you make a big deal of Valentine's Day? For me personally, I find all these manufactured holidays and gift card events a little too much. But I guess it's good if you're a child. But do you get involved, Lewis? Do you get romantic?
I mean, to a certain degree, you have to do something. But I think it's I don't like I have a friend who proposed to his chick on Valentine's Day, which is just like, come on, doggy, just get a little more creative than that.
Cliched.
Very cliche. I don't know. I think it's better to be romantic, do something any other day of the year except for Valentine's Day.
I always hated Valentine's Day as a kid because at school, I never got a single Valentine's card. Yeah, I was very unpopular. I know this is going to come as a big shock, but I was very unpopular with the ladies at school. I never had a single girlfriend. And used to piss me off. Everyone would get Valentine's cards, and not a single one, Lewis. Not a single one. But you being the heavy set fella that you were, you must have been a real hit with the ladies.
Actually, motherfucker, I've always been very good with chicks because I was funny. That was it. I was always like, it was a way to use humor. And women, they look at that as a sign of intelligence or whatever it is. And I've always hit way above my league when it comes to women. Your problem was I imagine just being a fucking, remember, the movie A Christmas Story?
No, I don't. No.
Well, all right. There's a bully in Christmas Story who.
I was not a bully, Lewis.
Pull up the bully in a Christmas Story.
Already, I don't like where this story is going.
This is just what I imagine you were like. So I imagine little girls coming up to you with paper hearts, and you just fucking headbutt them in the face and be like, "I don't want your heart."
No, not at all. I was never a bully, Lewis. I was a scrapper, but it was always with older kids. I was never preying on the weak. That's not my style, my friend. But I just didn't know how to talk to them. As you said, you were funny. I used to try too hard. You know what I mean? Try far too hard to be funny, and I was always the class clown. But went too far. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And not an endearing class clown.
You know what it is?
Class clown.
I learned pretty early. Like I've always even since I was young, I always would sell. Right? I was always the salesman. I was always the kid on my block with an iced tea stand. I was always the kid going door to door and knocking in the wintertime to see if you wanted me to shovel your steps. And I was just always selling. And I learned very early on that even with girls, it's just sort of a game of numbers, everything you do. So if you were to just, ask every girl out in your school, there's a ratio. A certain amount of girls are going to say yes, certain are going to say no. And then you figure out that ratio, 1 out of 9. So then you put that sales mentality there. Like every time I get a no, technically I'm closer to a yes. So, and I kind of understood that. So I never took it personally if a chick wasn't into me. I was like, all right, let's move on to the next chick. Who gives a shit? And then that confidence made them want me more.
Of course, if you throw enough shit at the wall, some will stick, Lewis. You know, I never had the confidence though to go up and speak to girls like that. You know, I just didn't. I got teased in our house by my mum and dad. If ever there was any kind of romantic, if I ever, you know, if they thought I liked a girl, they just teased the hell out of me, which got me all upset. They did. Like now I'm super cool with my kids because it mortified me as a child. Oh, Michael likes that girl. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, shut up, mom. I mean, from an early age, but that's how they carried on. And my mum was a very strict Catholic. So technically in our house, we weren't allowed girlfriends until we were 16, 17 or 18 anyway. She was very, very strict, my mom. Like I wasn't allowed to hang around with Protestants. You know, in the in Christianity, there's Catholics and Protestants, and maybe some others. I'm no expert, but my mom was a Catholic, strict Catholic, and in the town we were at, there was a lot of Protestants. And my mum would come out of the house screaming, "You're not hanging around with those Protestant bastards! Get off this street, you son of a bitches! Michael, get in this house!" I'm like, "Mum, what the fuck are you doing? Calm down. You sound like a crazy person. It is not the 1500s, okay?" But so yeah, you know,
that's another.
There wasn't too many girls knocking on my door. Let me tell you, sir, the first time Rebecca met my mom, and God bless you, mom, if you're listening, which I know she's not, but so I'm not talking shit. A beautiful Valentine's story for you. When me and Rebecca, we've been seeing each other for a few weeks. We went out, we came back, we went back to my house and my mom's house, should I say. My dad had left, they weren't together. My mum was in the house, and Maxine, Adam, and Shireen, my younger brothers and sisters, they were all upstairs asleep. And we came in and we didn't do anything. You know, we weren't getting up to no good downstairs when my mum's asleep, right? We came in, we'd had some drinks, we laid on the couches and we fell asleep, and that was that. My mum has a bad leg. She got polio when she was younger. So she had a lot of operations, a lot of pins in her leg. So she has a terrible limp. And when she walks in the house, you could hear her, right? And you know when she was mad. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. She's coming down the fucking landing. I'm like, oh, shit. Da-dum, down the stairs. I'm like, Rebecca, wake up. My mom, I can tell by the way she's walking, she's fucking not happy. And then whoosh, the fucking door flew open. And I mean, it flew open. And she's like, right, what the hell is going on in here? You wee hussy, get out of this house, you whore. Whoa. And all this type of stuff to Rebecca. Rebecca comes from the nicest family ever, right? She's never been spoken to or heard a raised voice in her life. She was totally shocked. And this tirade of abuse from my mom went on for about 20 minutes. Rebecca went out the house to the end of the street and sat on this like concrete stump. And my mom was in her nightgown on the street hurling abuse at her. I'm like, Mom, what the fuck are you doing?
And it was just because you had a girl over without her knowing.
Yeah, my mom was like, I've got young children upstairs. She thought we'd been, you know, boinking or having sex. So we've been having sex, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, that we haven't. We just came in, we went to sleep. And she thought we'd been having sex and we had young children in the house. And Rebecca always said she thought she meant like 6 or 7 year olds. And they come down, they're all like 14, 15. She's like, these aren't young children. You know what I mean? These are teenagers. They probably had it themselves. But she stuck around, thank God.
That's great.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day, Lewis? Nothing. Flowers, card, chocolate, dinner?
I don't know, man. My son, it's more about my kid now. He likes it. Yesterday we had my niece come over, and then Kim, my girlfriend, she had a cousin, and their kids come over. So they made Valentine's, but that's really it, dude. It's for fucking kids. You know, the reality is you wanna go somewhere far with your chick, you know, a week before Valentine's, send her some candy and flowers and be like, hey, we don't need a fucking holiday. That's going to go way further than just some manufactured bullshit. You still get a little bit of candy. You still tell you love her. But I've said this before. My ideal night is just sitting in at night and watching a movie, playing some video games, smoking a little bit of weed. That's like perfect.
I like to send flowers, not on Valentine's Day though, but I probably will. But I like to send flowers unexpected. You know what I mean? I think I
Yeah.
find that's more effective, So
I do that in the first when I'm courting a chick. That's what I do. That's what I did when I was first started dating Kim. She was working as a waitress in LA. I was in New York. I sent flowers to her job. Everyone's like, "Oh my god."
yeah.
Then it's too
Yeah,
late.
and then you set the bar very high, just like you saying the F-bombs at the start of the show. You're blaming it on me setting the precedent. You set this precedent, Lewis, of that you're a good dude. You'll send flowers to her work. You're romantic. You'll take her out for nice dinners. And then 6 months in, you're not brushing your teeth anymore. You stink of BO, and you're like, listen, bitch, make me some dinner.
Goddamn right. And you know what? I gotta be honest.
She loves
with you.
it.
She fucks up because here's what she does now. Now she's like, she'll bring it up. She'll be like, "Oh, you haven't gotten me flowers in forever." And then I tell her, I was like, "Well, now you're not getting flowers for a while because you just reset the clock. It has to be an original thought on my end. You can't bring that shit up. You gotta like just leave it alone. And then one day I'm gonna get inspired and you're gonna get something nice. But if you bring it up and then you take away my value of being original, so then I don't even get to feel like I did anything that special. I feel like I'm just doing it as an obligation. So for the ladies that are listening,
it's like I was about to do that, but now you've let the cat out of the bag. And if I do it now, it's because you said I should do it. So now it's kind of weird and corny. So now I'm just not going to do it. Shannon, what is an idea of a romantic Valentine's gesture in your opinion?
I feel like it's a really personal thing. I mean, I agree it's a very like commercialized thing, but if you just
vibrator, yes.
If you do something little that just
I get it. I know what she's going for.
No, if you do something little that just
look at she's a flirt with everybody that's listening with us.
Oh my God.
No, if you do a little thing that just shows that you pay attention to her, like a sweater that she keeps mentioning or something new for her cell phone, I don't know, whatever. Just something that shows that you pay attention.
If my girl kept on mentioning a sweater, I'd be like, bitch, I get it. You want this sweater. Buy it.
Perhaps a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
or some rubber gloves. Perhaps that set of pans that she always wanted.
You know what a good
fancy
classic
knives.
one is? This is a good classic one, and I've done this before for chicks, but you just do your own coupons. I always thought that's a classic, solid. I know it's a hack idea. Shannon's rolling her ideas. Shut up, all of you. Everyone, I quit.
Jesus Christ, who are you? Who are you? All of a sudden, you're trying to pretend you're this badass weed smoking Puerto Rican rattlesnake. I don't give two fucks, motherfucker, right? And now you're telling me that you're making little vouchers and you're putting, here's a coupon, with 5 hearts on it. So I owe you 5 favors, and then you leave them all over the house. And when she opens the fridge, there's one there underneath the cheese. And when she goes to put on her shoes, there's one in her shoe.
Underneath the cheese.
God, you made me sick, Lewis.
First of all, it's not a bad idea because you get to make it personal. Fuck you, Shannon. Don't shake your head no at me. This is why nobody loves you. This is why you're not loved.
No, listen. Women want a certain. Listen, they want a nice guy, they want a gentleman, and all the rest of it, and somebody that treats them well. But you can't be an absolute walkover at the same time. You can't come across as more feminine as the woman. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my experience,
you do 5 or 10 coupons, like 30-minute foot rub, and then she just pulls it out whenever. Okay,
right?
Cunnilingus. I'd give like 7 of those. Maybe 7 cunnilingus coupons, 1 foot rub, and
4 blowjob coupons.
Exactly, it's all me.
Exactly. Hey, guess what? Good for you. Got another blowjob coupon here. Congrats, it's your lucky day.
I'm going to give my girlfriend a booklet of blowjob coupons that she can use whenever she wants. You know what? No expiration date, honey.
Yeah. And these are for you. These are for you. This is the type of guy I am. You're welcome. Anytime. Help yourself. Anyway, all right,
Mike, real quick, we got to talk about Blue Chew, which I love. I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of the coolest sponsors because if you like to have sex, and obviously you like to have sex, you're going to love Blue Chew. It is a performance enhancement for the bedroom. If sex were an Olympic sport, USADA would be all over this. Blue Chew would be out of commission. No way. John Jones would be loaded to the gills with it probably. He probably is currently loaded to the gills with it anyway, to be honest. But it really does make sex so much better, okay? If you guys, this is not about having some sort of dysfunction or erectile dysfunction. That's not it at all. This just enhances the experience in the bedroom. So if you want to have longer, better sex with your woman, Blue Chew is a great company, and we have a really great deal for you. Mr. Bisping, tell them how they can get their first order of Blue Chew for free.
Well, listen, if you want to get involved with this amazing product that is better and cheaper than Viagra or Cialis, it only takes a few minutes to fill out a form online. No doctor visit, no awkward conversation, no waiting in line at a pharmacy. It ships directly to your door in discreet packaging. Blue Chew chewables are prescribed online by a doctor and made inside the USA. Blue Chew gives you confidence in bed every time. You and your partner will love it. Chew it and do it, Lewis. I do like that one. So anyway, the great deal, as you say, go to bluechew.com and get your first order free when you use the promo code BELIEVE. Very simple. bluechew.com. Promo code BELIEVE. Pay $5 shipping and it will come to your house. Very discreet. BLUE. Chew.com. Promo code BELIEVE. Have better sex. You are welcome. Thank you, Michael Bisping, is what you will say. You're incredible. You saved my marriage. Lewis, where were we? We have Kamaru Usman calling in a little bit for anybody that's listening. Yeah, we do. Very, very soon at 1:30, 4:30. So in 12 minutes time.
I can't believe
big fights at the weekend. Go on.
I was going to say we're flying by 26 minutes into the show. We just got into it. We haven't even started yet. God damn it. That's some natural charisma right there. But yes.
We've been talking about nonsense for 26 minutes.
Yeah. Pretty incredible. Pretty impressive.
All right. Yeah. Yes and no. But Kamaru Usman obviously got a massive fight with Tyron Woodley coming in. You know, perhaps a little more structure. It's like, yeah, it's really impressive how you just spitball and freestyle like that. So, yeah, it is. And then obviously at the weekend, we had the fight at Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva. Should we just talk about that real fast? Obviously,
let's get into
First of all, Robert Whittaker. It was a very, very situation. On the show that we did, the pre-show, which came out after the fight, which was kind of, ironic. The pre-show that you couldn't watch until after the fights. Harrington.
Don't get me started on Harrington. Go.
I was having some fun with Robert Whittaker. I was like, trying to big myself up because I took Gastelum at short notice and he pulled out the day off. We were having some fun. It turns out the surgery was very, very serious. I think it was 6 hours. He had a twisted intestine or something, twisted bowel, and then a hernia and stuff. Apparently could have been life-threatening. So I saw a video. He's healing well, and we wish him all the best. Apparently he'll be back soon. Looking forward to him versus Gastelum. That was, obviously it was the main event. But for me, that was a fight I was really intrigued to see. So hopefully we get to see that soon. The new main event became Israel versus Anderson Silva. Luis J. Gomez, take it away. Give me your initial thoughts. Go ahead.
Good fight, entertaining. Left me with a little bit of blue balls. I feel like both of them could have sort of went after it a little bit more. I think the production team made that point. They were like, they were just throwing single fancy shots one at a time. They weren't really throwing any sort of combos. I was sort of, there's two things that I took away from it. Number one, I feel like Anderson Silva could have won that fight if he really gave a fuck. I don't know what it is. It seems like anytime he starts dealing with any adversity, he starts fucking around. And I think it is a crutch that he uses so he can sort of go like, oh, I'm not really even taking it that seriously. But the reality is it's every time it just seems like it's when he gets hit or whatever it is, he starts to fuck around. I'm going like, dude, you're one of the baddest men on the planet. Like, don't fuck around right now. You need to win this fight. And in the third round, we've seen him doing a lot. It was disappointing. And then the other takeaway was that Israel Adesanya, he's incredible. He's an incredible athlete. But that fight didn't make me go like, oh my God, this is a coming out party for Israel. That fight made me go, oh shit, Israel, he's not this world beater, or maybe not. I don't know that we have the data to say that Israel's like the next coming of Jesus, the way everybody else is saying that he is.
Yeah, interesting points. And, I'm inclined to agree with everything you're saying there. Anderson, he lost the first round. He won the second. The third, he lost clearly. And to your point, I think that's what it is with Anderson. He stood there with his hands low, and Israel landed several Israel landed several three-punch combinations while Anderson stood there and took them and smiled. And he really did smile. And Dominic Cruz said, oh, he's smiling, but it hurt. I don't think it did, because it was like a genuine smile. He wasn't like, like trying to do a poker face or whatever. He had his hands down and he allowed him to punch him. And it's very frustrating to watch. It is, because it's like, I mean, this guy was one of the best, may go down as the greatest of all time in all history. When he was in his prime, he was killing it. Somewhat frustrating. Israel looked really, really good, though. I mean, you're right. It was single strikes, one at a time. But when he threw those, Israel looked very, very sharp, very fast, landed a couple of clean shots. And then in the second round, it was the flip. Anderson landed the better shots. He backed Israel up. Israel looked like if you back him up and put him under pressure, obviously he doesn't perform as well there. But that's always the way. They say you crowd a kicker or someone that has extreme length like that, you crowd them. Israel, I think it was an 80-inch reach that I saw on Saturday. If you crowd that person and get in their face and put them on their back foot and fight inside the pocket, guys with longer limbs tend to struggle. Of course, you can use knees and elbows there, which obviously helps because they're short-range targets. But third round, neither man was doing much. And Israel was clearly ahead. He was coasting to a clear victory. And Anderson just didn't seem to want it, because there was no sense of urgency from him. I mean, the last 45 seconds, I was like, is he going to do something? In the second round, we saw him chase Israel down a few times, tried to do a flying knee and nearly jumped out of the octagon. So he's still very fast, very explosive. Anderson's reaction time really impressed me, ducking under kicks.
Yeah.
As I say, nearly jumped out of the fucking octagon. Yeah, no, for sure. It was a very good display of martial arts. There was some cool shit on display. Israel had some great showmanship, which was awesome to see. The pair of them were doing it to each other. It was very entertaining, and Israel, well done. Job well done. I mean, he got the win over a legend like that. So you can't ask for more. But Anderson, I thought it was a little disappointing because he didn't seem to have a sense of urgency. And if he had done, we may have seen a different result. I'm not trying to take away from Israel. I thought he looked outstanding, and he is now the next contender in line after Kelvin Gastelum, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's next in line after Gastelum, which coincidentally, we have to talk about this. Gastelum, I like Gastelum. Gastelum's awesome. I think he's a great guy. He's a hell of a fighter. Got a victory over me when I was like washed up and like way past my prime. But the whole standing there with
and
the
we just
belt
found out
in the
today
crowd
about
thing.
the whole right side of your body. You have the half woman, half man, basically.
Just half a human, half woman, half man. But no. So Kelvin, obviously, he said, well, Robert pulled out, so therefore that makes me the champion. Okay. I get it. That's a funny little tweet. It's a funny thing to do, to stand there and pose with the belt on and put it on Instagram and put that, it's funny for a minute. But he literally stood there all night with Henry Cejudo's championship belt over his shoulder. And at that point, I was like, come on, Kelvin, man. It's a little bit cringe. We get it. The joke was funny for a second, but take the belt off because you aren't actually the champion. Everybody knows that. So,
and also, to be honest with you, Chael Sonnen did it first, and he did it best. When Chael Sonnen showed up to the press conference with a belt, where who knows how the fuck he got it, he just showed up and said he was the champion. No, it was great.
It was when I fought Chael Sonnen, UFC on Fox 2. Yeah. And I was there, and I even said, yeah, listen, he's sitting there with the belt. I said, I think you can get those for $29.99 off eBay, mate. Yes. And it was it Rashad versus John Jones, or was it John Jones? I don't know. Rashad versus Phil Davis. I don't know who it was in the main event, but it was me and Chael in the co-main event. Incidentally, a fight I took on 9 days' notice, which is a little
and a lot of
factoid.
A lot of people, including Chael, thought you won that fight.
Yeah, but we're not here to stroke my ego.
I think that's literally what we're here for. That was almost the name of the show, Stroking Michael Bisping's Ego.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping.
Stroking egos with Michael Bisping. But in 4 minutes, we're going to talk to Kamaru. Yeah. So Shannon, get him on the phone in 3 minutes. They're expecting it. They're a professional outfit. Of course, let's talk about this before we go into some other fights that occurred. But Kamaru Usman, Tyron Woodley. Of course, Woodley looked incredible in his last fight. I hate to say it, but he had an easy second round. Was it first? Who cares? He got a Doris finish over Darren Till. He dropped him with a beautiful right hand, which Woodley is known for. Terrific champion. It looks like, he can't be beaten right now. Usman on the flip side, I think he's undefeated in MMA. Had an incredible performance against Rafael dos Anjos and stole the title shot. Remember, there's all that controversy surrounding Covington, saying that he was supposed to fight for the belt, but now Usman's getting the shot. Dana said Covington didn't want it, and Usman stepped up. And I think Usman's a really tough test for Woodley. I really do. I mean, I think he's longer. Can we look up his stats, Harrington? He's got a longer reach. He's got crisp boxing, and he's got very, very good wrestling. So I feel the wrestling side of thing is probably going to negate one another unless somebody's rocked and then you take them down, or time it off a right hand and then go in. And then it's going to come to who's the better striker. I think experience in big fights, you got to lean towards Woodley, but Usman has got, he's got some slick hands. He's got a longer reach, and he's very, very athletic. So I see it as a pretty even matchup, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great fight. He's actually 14-1. He's got one defeat dating back to 2013, a long time ago, undefeated in the UFC. That's also a big deal as well. When somebody hasn't tasted defeat in that long, I think that goes a long way. Do we have Kamaru on the line? 2 more minutes? Okay, cool. We got it. Very cool.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Fighting?
Yeah, I mean, so right now he's on a. Usman is on a in the UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 9-fight win streak, which is pretty incredible. Dos Anjos, Damian Maia, Emil Meek, Sergio Moraes, Sean Strickland, Wally Alves, Alexander something or other, and Leon Edwards, and then Haider Hassan before that as well. So, he's taking out some decent names. Obviously, Damian Maia and Dos Anjos, the biggest names on there. But this is a tough test. But, it's interesting. They were talking shit at the press conference. But Usman and our good friend, Ben Askren, they were going back and forth at the press conference as well. So I'm looking forward to asking him about that.
Cool. All right, we'll get him on right now. In fact, I'll take a moment really quick while we're grabbing Kamaru. Take a moment. If you love the show, go to our iTunes page right now. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. That always helps out the show, guys. iTunes is a great way for people to discover the show. And the more you guys leave us reviews, the more it shows up in the top of the rankings. And that's how people find out about the show. So please go do that. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get the latest 15 episodes on both iTunes and the full video episodes as well on YouTube. And if you just search Believe You Me Podcast or Michael Bisping Podcast on YouTube, you could be one of the many subscribers that have jumped on board this train. Also, if you love the show, every episode we've ever done is available at gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get a 14-day free trial. You get a full day pre-release on all the episodes, ad-free episodes, uncensored, and more benefits. 20 shows on the Gas Digital Network. Use that promo code BYM. Beautiful. All right. We got Kamaru?
All right.
Kamaru Usman joins the Believe You Me podcast. Are you there?
I am here.
What's up, buddy? How you doing? It's Michael Bisping here and Luis J. Gomez. Kamaru, a lot of people probably don't know, but sorry, that sounded weird, but I first met you back on season 14 of The Ultimate Fighter. You were Jason Miller's wrestling coach on that team, and it's quite the journey you've been on since then, my friend.
Yeah, funny thing, I was actually just thinking about that because it took me a few years to learn how to say your last name correctly. I kept calling you Bisping for some reason. I don't know why, but I finally learned it, especially after you shot me in the face with that fire extinguisher during that season. Like,
oh, my God, I forgot about that. For those that don't know, we kicked open the door, ran in with fire extinguishers. It was a lot of fun. Hey, listen, we're going to get to your fight with Woodley and stuff, but do you still speak to Jason Miller? How's he doing these days? I know he had a little bit of bother. Do you still keep in contact with him or no?
It's been a while, honestly. It's been a while because, I live in Florida and he lives on the West Coast. So it's been tough and it's been a long time since we kept in contact, but I'm praying for him and I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, me and you both, buddy. Me and you both. So, of course, we're here to talk about your big fight against Tyron Woodley. I mean, we were just looking at you there. I think it's 9 victories in the UFC in a row. Incredible stuff, Kamaru. Obviously, Tyron Woodley's a great champion, and he's got a fantastic skill set. But where do you see yourself having an edge in this fight? What do you think is going to get you the victory?
Yeah, I agree. Tyron is a good champion. He's been a good champion, but it just what he's missing is what I have, and that's the secret sauce. And I've said it in plenty of interviews. He's not willing to go where I'm willing to go in order to win this fight. It's going to come down to heart because we're similar in a lot of ways. He's got a lot of power. I have power, although I don't come out there and just swing for the fences like he does. We both have power. We both can wrestle. We both can grapple. And so it's going to come down to heart, and I feel that I have a bigger heart than he does.
Are you feeling any type of pressure going to this fight? Obviously, it's a championship fight, huge fight. Is there? Do you feel that going into this, or is this just another fight to you, or is that something that you try to use in any way?
No, not right now. I don't. Of course, it's a fight to fight. You're going to have a little bit of pressure here and there, but nothing overwhelming to where it's consuming my time or it's consuming my ability to think or properly or to train. So no, nothing out of the ordinary. It's still another fight. Tyron's a guy that I've watched for years. I know what he's going to do. I know what he thinks he's going to do, but it's all relatively new to me. I've studied him for years, so I'm just going to go out there and implement what I want to do in order to come out with that victory.
Kamaru, did you actually grow up in Nigeria? Forgive my ignorance there, but I know your nickname is the Nigerian Nightmare. Did you actually grow up there, or was it your parents?
Yeah, I was born there, and I was raised there until I was about 8 years old, to where we finally immigrated to Dallas, Texas. So, yeah, I was raised there, and obviously the important years of my life when a boy is growing up, a young child is growing up, that 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's the key point to really make certain attachments. And man, it's bred in me, just the custom, the culture, the things, the food, the way we talk, the way we speak, all of that is bred in me. Yes, I was, I did my schooling, whether middle school and high school in Texas before doing college out in Iowa and Nebraska. So but I'm deep in the culture and I have strong roots there. My extended family are all still there.
So this is an incredible journey then. I mean, I don't know much about, Nigeria. So again, forgive my ignorance, but coming from there, now living here in America, now you're fighting for the UFC the welterweight belt. I mean, that's an incredible journey that you've been on there. So you must feel very, very inspired. That the reason I asked about if you're from Nigeria was because Lewis mentioned pressure. And as I said, it's an incredible journey that you've been on, an incredible success story. But there must be an element of pressure coming from that background and now being here at the top of the sport. I mean, this is a huge moment for you. I mean, how do you feel looking back and, just reflecting on all of that?
Yeah, you're right, Mike. In a sense it is, but I don't try to look at it that way. I mean, Mike, you growing up in England, did you ever dream and believe that you would be into the most fights, if you don't have the record? I'm pretty sure you have the record. Most fights in the UFC, most wins. And you never heard things like that growing up. Obviously, as you grow up, you start to venture into and trying new things and different things, and you want to be successful in them. But, my journey, a crazy roller coaster, and it's led me to this point. Now I have a platform in the way that I can show kids that are in Nigeria or any part of Africa that, you never know what tomorrow is going to bring just because you're in a certain circumstance or situation right now. That's not necessarily going to determine the rest of your life. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure on that sense, but I'm doing me. I'm focused on me. I'm focused on going out and executing and doing the things that I trained for, things that I prepared for. So in that sense, no, it's not added pressure.
Now, tell us a little bit about the game plan going into the fight, because you went 5 rounds in your last couple fights. I'm sure those extra couple rounds of experience help with your confidence there. Are you planning on going deeper into later rounds in the fight, or are you trying to end it early?
Yeah, I'm more of a give and take. I'm going to go in there and take whatever he gives me. Like everyone says, oh, yeah, well, I have a plan. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take him down and submit him. Yeah, that could be the plan until you get punched in the mouth really hard. So that plan's got to change. So I'm going in. I'm open in each and every fight. I'm open. I'm just better. I have a better mind for the game, better mind for it. I don't get hit a lot because I have better mind for it. I know when to come in. I know when to exchange. I know when to switch it up. And that's one thing that I've said. When I mix it up, nobody in that division can touch me right now. And Tyron's just going to have to figure that out. If I have to drag him into deep waters and drown him later on in the rounds, and we all know he could be drowned. He's not a very good swimmer. So if I have to do that, I'm going to do that. If not, then I might end it early.
So what's going on with you and Ben Askren? Because it seems like you guys are probably destined to meet at one point, win or lose with this Tyron Woodley fight. What happened there? Was it him just sort of trolling you on the internet? I saw the Marty comments, but how did that all start?
No, he's just being a troll. I mean, he came in. I think it was a matter of he saw an opportunity to potentially cut the line. Since Covington is kind of being a little bitch and won't step up and fight, so he saw it as an opportunity to potentially cut the line. And he knows there's nothing that he could say about me. I mean, he knows that, I'm the best wrestler in the division. I'm the toughest fight in the division. He knows that. There's nothing else you can say in that aspect. So he started saying this whole Marty comment. Marty's a nickname that people called me in college while I was wrestling, just like on season 14 of The Ultimate Fighter, when we were coaching Mayhem Bisping, everyone called me Kush. So, hey,
that's right. They did. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So nicknames is nicknames. I mean, you're going to have nicknames all through your life. It's nothing. But he understands that there's nothing that he can do or say right now to get at me. So that's why he's trying to poke that fun. But this is one thing I'm going to say about him. He came in hot right now just because he has that buzz behind him from that big trade, so he's coming in hot. But wait till fans see the product that he's putting out. Let's see if those same fans are behind him once they see the piece of shit product he's putting out.
Well, absolutely. The proof is in the pudding. And if it is a piece of shit product, then, as you said, the fans are going to fall off that hype train real fast. I honestly have never seen him fight. But if you're successful against Woodley, would that be your first defense? If he's successful against Robbie Lawler, are you happy to take him on?
Yeah, man. I don't turn down any fight. If he's the next guy up, then of course I'll be happy to take that fight. But, if he's not, then I'll be happy to beat up that other guy as well.
Well, and what about Colby? You mentioned Covington. He's sort of the most hated guy in the division. He's saying he's willing to retire now. It seems like 170 is starting to turn into a very, very exciting division to be in. There's a lot of competition, a lot of really tough guys. Talk to me. How do you feel about Colby, and what do you think about him, possibly retiring from MMA?
That little dweeb is not retiring. Don't fall for that crap. He has nothing else to do. See, this is just his way of trying to stay relevant in the media. He's not retiring. That's a guy that I genuinely want to beat up, and I will beat up.
No, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. He ain't retiring anytime soon. Just trying to say anything he can to get a headline. He's throwing his toys out of the pram. He's sulking. He's a little bitch, as you said earlier. Listen, Kamaru, I'm sure you got a very busy day. You got a big fight coming up. I'm sure you want to go train. So on behalf of the Believe You Me podcast, thank you very, very much for joining us. And we'll let you get back to your day and no doubt back to training.
Thank you, Bisping. I appreciate it.
All right,
you're the
man. All the best. Thanks, Kamaru. I know you're busy, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Very cool. Kamaru Usman, Usman B4KG on Twitter. Make sure you go follow him. Let him know that the Believe You Me podcast sent you over his way.
Hold on.
What?
B4KG. That, and I don't know, I guarantee it's Usman 84kg because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong
kilograms?
because 84 kilos is, I was going to say, that's the middleweight division.
Yeah,
That's an
84.
8.
Yeah, it looks.
And kg for kilogram.
Yeah.
Lewis,
you're right.
put the pieces of the puzzle together. Please, come on. It's embarrassing. The poor guy takes time out of his day. He's been on the Helwani show. He's been on all these other stuff. He's been on the many subpar shows, subpar radio shows, dealing with like very lowbrow people. He finally makes it to the big league. He talks to us. He's a very busy man. I'm sure he's got training to go to, and you can't even get his Twitter handle right. Shame on you, my friend.
Shame.
Big shame.
I'll take the shame belt.
No, not a shame belt. You're not even worth the shame belt.
I'm embarrassed.
Usman there, he's very cool, calm, and collected, isn't he? He's not like me, an emotional bag of nerves. But I'm looking forward to that one. It is going to be a good fight. Of course, Woodley's an incredible fighter, incredible champion. And as I said before, looked outstanding. But Usman does provide some problems. He's got a good reach. He's got crisp boxing, and he's got excellent wrestling and one hell of an athlete as well. So
and he hasn't lost.
It's an interesting fight.
He lost really early in his career. You forget that, and it's hard to just even, without you as a fighter, professional fighter, you could probably look at both their styles and better assess who you think is going to win based off of some very real data. Looking at it from a fighter and years of experience, but as a fan, who doesn't really know, how do you really assess a guy who hasn't lost in 7 years and he lost his second fight ever, right?
But everything you're saying there, just giving the flip side, because Tyron Woodley also is very gracious with his time and he's going to join us again soon. He's the same. He hasn't lost in a long time. I don't know what his record is off the top of my head, but he's been a successful champion for a while. Beat Robbie Lawler. 2 defenses against Wonderboy, then defended, I think it was Darren Till. Was that the next one? Yeah. So 3 defenses on the books, which is very, very good. So it's a great fight. It's a
fight card is batshit.
Dude, it's crazy. So you've got John Jones versus Anthony Smith, Usman versus Tyron Woodley. What's the rest of the card?
I'll tell you right now. It's Robbie Lawler versus Ben Askren. It's fucking nuts. Then Jeremy Stevens versus Beat Mamagomedov.
That is Magomed Sharipov. Please give the respect to the fighters, Lewis. Not blah 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 blah. Right? It's Magomed Sharipov.
Magomed Sharipov, obviously.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, I mean, come on. It's a very common name in Dagestan.
I still say Khabib. I don't even say Nurmagomedov because I'm gonna fuck it up 1 out of 3 times.
Khabib.
You're right.
Khabib.
I didn't have enough.
Khabib.
More.
Hang around with Harrington for a while. You'll get a bit of in you. Who
Holly
else is
Holm
on the card? What's
versus
the opening
Aspen
fight?
Ladd, and then it
tapers down from there. Yeah. Generally, that's the case. All right. So Anderson Silva, Israel Adesanya. What was the co-main event? Lando Venata versus some Brazilian that made his debut. Lando looked great. Okay. What else is on the docket?
No, well, we should also talk about sort of the aftermath of Anderson and Israel. No, I mean, there's been a little bit of movement there.
What do you mean the aftermath? What happened? I mean,
post-fight.
I know Conor McGregor tweeted that he wanted to fight Anderson, but then Conor also tweeted he wanted to fight Diaz.
Yeah, he wants to fight.
He said. Anderson said he wants to fight Nick in Curitiba, and Conor tweeted, "Yeah, all right, and I'll fight Nate." I mean, that would be massive. Could you imagine that? Anderson Silva versus Nick Diaz 2, Conor versus Nate in the main event or co-main, whichever way around you want to do it. Dude, talk about pay-per-view bonanza. That'd be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and not a win between them in like 7 years.
No one's won a fight forever.
I mean,
but we're gonna sell the shit out of it.
UFC 255. Losers.
Hey, listen.
I'm sorry. They're legends. I'm a fucking piece of shit. But none of them have won a fucking fight. You got to win a fight.
Agreed. Hold on. So Diaz hasn't, Connor hasn't, Anderson hasn't, and Nick hasn't. Yeah, losers. I don't think we should label them as losers. A little bit more respect.
I'm being
but
an asshole because I'm such a big fan.
No. You're right. You are technically correct. But let's look at the body of work, Lewis. Let's focus on that. The body of work is stellar from everybody. I don't think Nick Diaz is fighting anybody anytime soon.
Did you see his response?
I saw him on it. What was his response? Was it, I don't want to hurt anyone, I just want to party?
Yeah. Is there a video of that? Oh, I'd love to
him on
see
Instagram.
it.
He was like down in vodka somewhere or gin or whatever it was. He's like, yeah, man. He does like these weird hand signs. I love Nick Diaz, by the way. Very interesting individual. Just drank some vodka, said,
I bet you Nick would do this show if we reached out to Nick and said, we'll come out to him. We'll go to the hood. Okay.
Jesus Christ. We've got budget restraints. Oh, okay, so we're gonna catch several flights to Stockton. Okay, maybe get mugged on the as we're transporting to his house, and then we're gonna sit down with Nick Diaz. No,
maybe get mugged while we're interviewing him. Have you seen his posse? They're animals.
Animals. They make gang signs with the left hand and balloon animals with the right hand. They're animals.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Connor said it better.
If we had Nick Diaz on this show, it would be the #1 downloaded podcast that week. Period.
Oh, 100%. But guess what? Nick Diaz doesn't like doing shit like that. That's kind of what makes him appealing as well and sought after, because he is an enigma of sorts. He's very, he's doesn't like doing that. He's not a media darling. And guess what? If we did do all that, Lewis, and let's just say hypothetical situation, we fly out to fucking Stockton, we book our flights, we get a little hotel somewhere, we arrange a little night out and we have the restaurant planned. It's all logged, organized, sorted. We'll get there and he won't be there. He won't turn up. He didn't even show up for the press conference for when he fought GSP. Do you think the Believe You Me podcast is going to get more respect than the UFC and inviting GSP for a title fight?
Maybe. It's a very Nick Diaz way to do things. Show up for a podcast, but not. Look, is this his video? Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah.
Look, bro. All right.
Okay, I just
we're getting drunk right now. Fuck all this shit. I don't want to hurt nobody. I just want to party.
Hey guys, what's your goal? Like in this.
I don't want to hurt nobody.
They're doing number 9s.
Doggy.
What are those?
Are they
weed? Joints?
Yeah, those are joints.
Yeah. What I want to know is, never mind what Nick's doing. What's the guy doing in the back sweeping up all the broken glass? I want to know what happened 10 minutes before. And the guy that has the room was like, for fuck's sake, bro, stop smashing shit. If you look at that video, he's talking shit, and then someone in the back is sweeping up, and you can hear broken glass. So must have been a great time.
Look, it's got to be a good life for Nick Diaz. Never wants to fight again, getting hammered. Didn't he not drink? Cameron, you were telling me that, right? Somebody was saying that earlier on today, that he didn't drink, and then he said Ronda Rousey introduced him to alcohol, and now he looks like he just drinks.
Yeah, well, he's having a bloody good time, I'm sure. I mean, anytime I look on his Instagram, he's in Vegas, just living it up, having the time of his life, which you can do when you don't have a wife, you don't have kids. He's not hurting anybody.
Doesn't
he's
he have
living
both
his,
now? Or Nate just had a kid. But isn't Nick married? I think Nick got married.
Did Nate Diaz just have a kid? I never knew about that.
Did,
oh,
yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Maybe we'll see him come back and fight soon then. Because, once you got children, you want to, well, for me, my goal in life is to try and stack enough money in the bank, enough chips, so that when I die, I can set my kids up. It's not about me anymore. It's about my children, getting serious and sentimental for a moment. But, if I wanted to be a lazy fucker and sit on my ass for the rest of my life, I could do. But I'd die with, and leave nothing to my children. I want to be able to leave them enough money so that, they can, so they're not set, because I can't leave them that much, but leave them enough money so they get off to a great start in life, or when I'm gone, I'll buy my house and all that type of stuff, because God knows my fucking daughter's going to need all the help she can get. She's her mother's daughter. I'm kidding. Love you both. I'm joking. And Lucas is a maniac. The only one that's going to make a go of it is Callum. And of course, I'm joking.
Do you have any sort of restrictions on anything like that? Like they have to graduate high school or college before they can get any inheritance? Do you have anything like that? Do you have a will? That's fucking crazy.
No, I do have a will. Yes, I do.
Am I in it?
No, I did it
Son of a
before we
bitch.
met, Lewis.
You piece of
I do
shit.
apologize. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. Do something. I am literally sitting here holding my pee-pee because I need to pee-pee
Oh,
real
I thought you were
bad.
getting.
So
I
I'm
thought you were
going to
getting
run.
turned on by the conversation. I was like, all
I'm
right.
going to run and be right back in a second. Talk about
He said
something
do
interesting
something.
if you can.
He said do something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just met with a business lawyer and accountant, like just a whole company that does everything, like all of your business management and finances and everything. And they were like, "Are you thinking about having a will?" I was like, "Oh, fucking will? Who the hell has a will? Who draws up a will? What would I even put in my will? What do I have?"
Or whatever you have, you should. I mean, set it up so it definitely goes to James.
Wouldn't he just automatically get my stuff?
No, because then other people could fight for it. I would think.
Who? You guys? You piece of shit.
Yeah, all of us.
Shannon, you don't have any. There's nothing of mine is yours. So don't ever think if I die that you get to fight my kid for it. Okay, this shit right here, these microphones, they go to my fucking kid.
Why am I even working here?
I know. If Ralph died tomorrow, would I get this business completely and wholly?
Maybe his brother, maybe his twin brother.
No.
Wouldn't that be great?
I'll fucking get him. I'll get him out of the business real quick. So look,
What's this? Twin brothers. What are we talking about?
If my business partner died, do I automatically get his business? I have no idea how business works. Does his family get it? Am I a business partner with his mom? Some old bitch?
Hold on. I thought you were like a highfalutin businessman these days with like a business manager and multiple businesses. And,
I know.
And like, stocks and shares and all that type of
I
stuff.
don't know how it all works.
No?
I don't really. I just don't really ask too many questions. I'm like, that's working. Okay. Is there money going in the bank account? That's good. Yeah, but you.
I mean, I left school at 16 and I've learned as I've gone along, and I'm far from a stupid man, but, life experience, I've learned a lot, and which is the best teacher. But so now I know a little bit. I mean, Jesus Christ, recently with my company Playline, we were raising money for that, and we were in boardrooms on Bay Street, which is the Canadian equivalent of Wall Street, and these huge, massive skyscrapers, and we're in the top, very, very top level in these boardrooms, and like these tables with like that could seat 50 people, and we're sitting in there and we're pitching to them to raise money for Playline. I was like, wow, isn't life a wonderful thing? Look at where it can take you. I'm
crazy.
Sat in the very top boardroom of this huge skyscraper. The views were ridiculous. Fortunately, I wasn't the one making the pitch.
Right.
So in Playline, there's a few way smarter people than me, and then there's myself and there's Roy Hibbert, who's one of the investors and now an ambassador. And he comes to all the investment meetings, and we sit in there, and the smart guys do all the talking, and me and Roy. We know where to jump in, and we have our cheesy little one-liners that we say every time. It's almost like a script. We haven't written it, but we've done it that many times now. We know where we jump in. I'm like, oh, yeah. They're like, we're texting each other. Mike, it's almost time for your one-liner. And I go, oh, yeah.
If you invest in us, it'll be a knockout. That's it.
It's not that bad, Lewis. Not bad.
Sure
Not that bad. But it's not much better. Not much
sure
better.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I think about that all the time. I mean, I remember when I started my first podcast I ever started, it was an MMA podcast, Hammer Fisting, which I gave to Harrington. I just gave him the name eventually, but it was years ago. I'm talking about like 9 years ago. I started this podcast with Dave Smith, and it was on a little recorder. And I remember sitting in my apartment. I have a little Jack Russell Terrier who would shed. I never got him shaved down because I was just a fucking piece of shit, 26-year-old asshole. So there was dog hair everywhere, and this dog was just jumping everywhere. And we're recording this podcast on an MP3 player, and it sounds like shit. We don't know what we're doing. He doesn't give a fuck about it. And it's like, 9 years later, I'm sitting here with the former middleweight champion of the world doing a podcast. Now, granted, the technology is not even that much better. I mean, if you really look at the job that Harrington does, we're not far off from where we were.
I was going to say, if you look at the YouTube comments, they'll probably say, it sounds like the one you did back in the day was better. A lot of people bitch, The problem is, I wish I could be in studio with Lewis every week, but I live in LA, Orange County. He lives in New York. It's a 6-hour flight, and we have, lives. But we have got to start getting in studio together more. But yeah, it is weird where life takes you, because right now I signed the book deal with the publishing company, and I'm working on the book right now with a writer that's helping me out write it. And just starting the book, I mean, we've done about 5 or 6 chapters of it already, and just reflecting back on the journey. because that's what it forces you to do, because you're telling the story. We're writing the book from the start, and it's crazy. And you think back, to where it all started and whatnot, and now where life has taken you. If you're willing, and now we're going to get a bit bloody preachy and a bit Gary V-ish and motivational, but it's true. If you work your ass off and you're willing to go for something, it's crazy where life can take you. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I mean,
if you conceive, believe, and achieve,
then you can shut the fuck up. And there we go. No, but you're right. You're 100% right. I look at myself and, say what you want. I set a goal out. You know what I'm saying? There was something bigger in mind. And I just look at it, and I don't think that I'm particularly talented or smart or charismatic or whatever. I probably am, more so than the average person that tries to do this, because I have somewhat success. But I think it's more about setting a goal. And I said before, I have a sales background. It was that was sort of set into me very early, where it's like, if I just set a goal, I've always believed in my ability to sort of hit that goal. I think human beings were designed to hit those goals, So, I think most people just aren't willing to sort of take the chance.
Well, you're absolutely right. You have got to set goals and you give yourself a target to reach, a realistic target. That's what I did, when I started fighting. I mean, this was what I achieved, was what I wanted to do. Of course, it's not that easy for everybody, but as I say, I don't like getting too preachy and because some people appreciate it and other people might say, "Shut the fuck up."
Well, hold on. What has Gary V done? I don't even know who Gary. I know that name. I hear it a lot.
You don't know who Gary V is? Come on,
who it is.
You should follow him on Instagram. He's very, very, very motivational. Yeah.
Well, what has he done though? Has he become a middleweight champion of the world? Has he started? Has he started a podcast with a former middleweight champion of the world?
I mean, when you put it like that, Lewis, he has done nothing. But no, he's a super successful guy.
What does he
forget what it is. I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's got some imported wine business that makes like tens of millions of dollars a year.
Boring.
He has books. He has a podcast. He's a motivational speaker all over the world. Talking of which, check this out. I got an opportunity recently, and I'm excited to do this. I'm flying out to Canada, not for the event on March 10th of an evening with Michael Bisping, hosted by Louis J. Gomez from the Believe You Me podcast, which is happening on March 10th at the Great Hall in Toronto. Tickets available on Ticketmaster.com if you're interested. But no, I got an opportunity to speak to the Canadian military. So they're flying me up there, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to go and speak to the Canadian military about mixed martial arts, my career and whatnot. So I'm very excited to do that. I mean, I was born on a military base. All my brothers joined the army. I was the only one that didn't. I actually did try, but it didn't work out. Funny how things happen for a reason, but I'm excited to do that. Did you ever think about joining the army or anything like that, Lewis?
I was in ROTC when I was in high school, but it was only because it was something that I wasn't supposed to do. It wasn't like...
What is ROTC?
It's like it was a junior naval academy type thing. So on Thursdays, you would wear your Navy uniform and you would go and do various things and learn about...
Like the kid in Sopranos, what he got sent off to.
I never watched Sopranos, but it was like in school. It was a class.
You never watched Sopranos?
Watched the first season, then 2 episodes of the second season.
Oh my God, Lewis, do yourself a favor, please. Go and watch Sopranos from the start all the way through.
You do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and don't tell me what to do.
How about you just take a bit of good advice when you're giving it and you say, you know what, Michael, I'll address that. Perhaps there's a reason why everybody says it's the greatest TV show of all time, that Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones. Bro, you serious? That is one of the greatest TV shows of all time. Anybody on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, send Lewis a message or put it on Twitter if you agree. If you agree. If you don't agree, just shut up and do nothing.
I don't have a lot of time in my life, though, so if it doesn't get me, it doesn't get me. I don't know what else to do. There's no describing it. I can't explain to you why. I will tell you, it's great. I enjoyed it. The fucking characters were great. It just didn't. I watched the first season. I was like, all right, it's good. 2 episodes into the second season, I stopped fucking caring, and that was that. Sometimes it happens in the 4th season. Sometimes it happens in the 3rd episode, but they didn't get me, and that's their fault, not my fault.
All right. Okay. Well, listen, we're not going to turn this into a hyping Sopranos episode, but you should really invest the time in that. If you're one of these people that's texting, oh God, You got any good shows to watch on Netflix? I have multiple people texting me watching right now on Netflix because everybody does the same thing. They get in bed. And don't give me that, by the way. I don't have time. Do you sleep in a bed every night?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sleeping.
Do you have a TV in that bedroom?
Yeah, but I don't watch TV.
Just stop. Answer the questions. Do you have a bed? Do you have a bed in the bedroom? Do you have a TV in the bedroom?
You know I have a performance sleep bed.
Yes, but do you put the TV on when you get into bed and just watch a little something and before you say, you know what, enough's enough, turn it off now, let's go to sleep?
No, my woman does, and she watches Grey's Anatomy every night, every fucking night. And you know what? Pretty good.
Welcome to the 90s. Okay, well, Sopranos is from the 90s or early 2000s as well, but I'm telling you, just get into it. Give it a shot, give it a try. Stop being a fucking pain in the ass. I mean, you'll be watching Game of Thrones even though you don't have time for it because you're so successful and so busy with your multiple businesses.
I would give up my son to have early access to Game of Thrones, the new season. It's fucking going to be so good. I don't care what happens. I don't care what happens. April's coming. We get the return of, we get Avengers Endgame, which I hate to be a nerd. It's just fucking awesome. It's going to be dope.
No, I started off loving the Iron Man. I haven't seen any of the Avenger movies. I don't know.
You didn't see the last one?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't seen Thor. I haven't seen the Thor movies. I think perhaps my brain just operates at a higher level. That once I start seeing humans shooting ice and fire out of their eyes, I'm not interested. Although I did like the Superman movies. But no, I never saw them, Lewis. Never saw them.
Is there a British superhero?
Yes, Michael Bisping. He's talking to him, bitch.
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain? No,
yeah, he's a Marvel superhero.
Whoa!
This is Captain Britain?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. That's the angle, dude. Captain Britain.
I went for my agent sends me on a lot of auditions, and I struggle a little bit with the American accent. I'm doing dialect accent coaching. I go see a guy, but fuck me, there it is. There is a Captain Britain. Okay, if anyone's listening out there, good-looking devil. Good. That's what I look like. That's exactly me.
You kind of do look like him. I'm not gonna lie. You have a strong chin line. He looks like
and
his left side is very weak. You see how weak that left shoulder looks? Yeah, I was going to say,
his left side is nowhere near as bulbous as his right side.
It's true.
There you go. Captain Britain all day. Sign me up. Marvel, DC. If the pay's right, of course. If the pay's right, I'm willing to take it. I'm willing to go into negotiations. That's all. I don't want it. I don't need it. I'm very busy with podcasts and stuff. But, if the money was right, I'd consider it, Lewis.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you? It does look. You should go watch the Avengers with your son because it was incredible. The new one, the whole Infinity War.
Lucas won't do it. He will not do superhero stuff. He won't do it. I used to love it when he was younger because I bought him a ton of. You can buy the big action figures now. Iron Man, the Hulk. All the rest of them, Spider-Man, blah 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 blah. And when he was younger, like 3. We'd line them all up and we'd line up all his cars and his digger trucks and stuff, and we'd come up with these imaginary battles. But now he's not interested. David Attenborough, documentaries, wildlife, plants. That's all he's interested in.
It's good though.
Superheroes do not get a look in. No, it is. It's great. I love it. He's a great kid.
Yeah, my kid's
not interested in that stuff.
Borderline mentally handicapped. He's just like, he flies. Yeah,
he's American. He's American. Superficial. All show, no go. I never said that about Anderson and Israel, but it would fit. Yeah.
So what do we want to see here? All right, so Nick Diaz is not coming back. Connor's trying to set up a Nate Diaz fight. I don't really know what's going on with Connor. They need to pick a fucking lane and stick with it. But Dana White said that Khabib, if he wants to take off until his teammates are reinstated, that they just don't do that. Champions don't have the right to sit out or don't have the, I don't say, he didn't say right, but he said they don't sit out. Champions don't do that. So they'd have to figure out something else. And he said, Khabib and Tony possibly, Connor and Tony possibly for an interim, which we kind of sort of discussed on Saturday. We touched on, but yeah, they would love that.
Well, Connor and Tony both have the same management company, so that'd be a tricky one. And I'm not sure if that would be the fight to make because, it is the fight to make by all accounts, but that's a tough fight for Connor. It's a tough fight for Tony as well. Tony is, he's very hittable as we've seen. but he's also very, very durable. He's tough as hell, and comes on in the later rounds. I mean, look at Lando Venata when he debuted in the UFC. He had a lot of success. Anthony Pettis had a lot of success. But as I say, Tony ate those shots, and then in the end, Pettis wilted under pressure. And you'd have to think that Conor would be successful in the early rounds as well. So it's a tough fight for both men. But they were talking about Conor versus Cerrone for the 165. The 155 interim belt. First of all, it was the 165. Now they're talking interim belt. But then Conor's, isn't it weird? I saw a tweet from, I don't know who it was, some journalist saying, remember when Conor used to always tweet, beg me to fight. And now he's literally volunteering to fight every main event on every UFC card that's happening lately. So it's a little turn of events.
A little bit. I mean, he doesn't need to fight, though. I mean, at this point, didn't he just start a clothing line or something as well with somebody? I saw a press conference for that.
Yeah.
He's just...
We don't want to talk about that.
He's killing it, though, across,
He doesn't need to fight. Of course, he's got tons of money. He doesn't need to fight. But, but that's his identity. And I guess you got to keep the ball rolling, right? If you're trying to keep these businesses alive, you got to stay in the limelight and keep pushing the brand. There's no better way of doing that than going out there and being involved in exciting fights, which is how he established his name and his wealth. Let's take a quick moment to hear from the ever loyal, ever fantastic BetDSI.com. BetDSI.com have been in business for over 20 years. So if you want to make a bet, you want to make the viewing more interesting, whatever sport it is, of course, for us, it's MMA and the UFC. If you want to put a bet on, we recommend going to betdsi.com. They are top rated on all sportsbook review sites, easy to use and fast playing mobile interface. Bet games as they go. You get live in-game wagering options throughout the tournament, make plays throughout entire games and events. Of course, great customer service available 24/7, 365, and BetDSI has a reputation on fast payment of winnings. Now, this weekend, big fight, Cain Velasquez taking on Francis Ngannou. Lewis, tell them all about it. Tell them the odds. Tell them the deal. Tell them the lunacy that we're offering. They're basically giving away free money.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you guys put anything down, use the promo code BYM120 at betdsi.com. Promo code BYM120. That lets them know that we sent you there, which is incredible. That's amazing to begin with. If you decide to, they will give you a 60% bonus on anything up to $1,000. So you put $100 down, you're playing with $160. Just so you know, an FYI, if you opt in for any of those bonuses, there's a rollover period with those bonuses. You have to gamble a certain amount of times before you could take out that bonus cash. So just be aware of that before you go to betdsi.com. But either way, use the promo code BYM120. Right now, I am showing Cain Velasquez as a minus 185 favorite. Francis Ngannou plus 160. Look, I mean, it's a big question mark. Obviously, we're going to talk about this in depth a little bit more. But Cain Velasquez, it depends on which Cain shows up. Is it the old school Cain Velasquez, the former world champion, one of the most baddest men on the planet? If he shows up, I think Francis Ngannou is going to have a hard time. But look, Ngannou's a big, tough son of a bitch who can knock out anybody, and Cain Velasquez has been knocked out. Michael Bisping, where are you putting your money this weekend?
It's a very difficult question, and perhaps on Thursday, I will make my official prediction. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Cain's been away for 3 years. What Cain are we going to see? Is it the Cain of old? And even that Cain's going to have problems with Ngannou. Ngannou, how good is he? Where is the ceiling? But listen, Ngannou's a big underdog, and with the promo code, which was, what was it again, Lewis?
It was BYM120.
That is going to give you a significant increase on your betting. So go to betdsi.com, make your bets, make some money, enjoy the fights. It will be a much more thrilling experience. But where were we? This weekend in Phoenix, changing subject, doing a massive screeching U-turn. Cain Velasquez is back. I'll be there. I'll be working the desk for ESPN, taking on Francis Ngannou. We'll probably save all that talk for the second show this week, but I just want to say it's bloody nice to see Cain Velasquez back. Yeah. 3 years away from the sport is very, very frustrating. I mean, that guy, he was incredible. Absolutely insane. I mean, of course, he got knocked out against Dos Santos, but then in the next two matches, he absolutely destroyed him. And I remember I fought, who did I fight? I fought, was it Vanderlei Silva? I'm not sure. I fought somebody in Australia, and Velasquez was on the fight after me, and he fought Nogueira, or Nogueira's brother. And oof, man, His boxing looked incredible. Of course, he's a fantastic boxer as well. So it's awesome to see Cain Velasquez back, Lewis. What are your thoughts?
I know, yeah. I mean, it's been since July 9th, 2016. Then
almost 3 years.
A year before that was the last time he fought and he lost. And then it was 2.5 years before that. I mean, it's been a lot. It's been a long road for Cain. At what point does the sport pull ahead? It's got to happen at one point. You know, I'm a huge fan of Cain Velasquez. Francis Ngannou, you know, he's part of, you know, the new breed, the new heavyweight, very, very large, very athletic, really crazy knockout power. I mean, look, if it's the old Cain Velasquez, it's not even a debate. Not even a debate. The old Cain Velasquez would wipe the floor with Francis Ngannou, but I just don't know. At one point, the injuries, the age, the evolution of the sport, all of that is going to be too much to catch up with. And I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Cain Velasquez?
Well, I don't think it's fair to say that the old Cain would wipe the floor with Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is just a beast of a human being that hits incredibly hard, you know. And his last fight against what was the guy called,
Curtis
the
Blades.
wrestler, Curtis Blades. You know what I mean? Curtis Blades has the recipe to beat Ngannou, just the way Stipe did. Stipe out-wrestled Ngannou. Cain could out-wrestle Ngannou. Curtis Blades could out-wrestle Ngannou. But Curtis Blades couldn't get in on him because Ngannou just unleashed his hands and fucking demolished Curtis Blades. And I guess he came out aggressive as well because the fight before, remember, who did he fight? Oh, not Derek
Lewis.
Wilson. What's his name?
Derek Lewis.
Yeah, sorry, pardon me. Yeah, Derek Lewis. In that fight, he didn't throw a single punch hardly. One of the worst heavyweight fights of all time. So I feel like he probably felt the pressure to come out there and put on a good performance, and he did that. Now, you know, if Cain can get on the inside and get his hands on him and take him down, yeah, for sure, I'm gonna fancy Cain. But if he can't take him down, he can't get on the inside, and the trading hands. Who knows? Who knows? I feel like Ngannou hits harder and faster. Certainly more in his prime, less injuries, less miles on the clock. If the fight stays on the feet, I certainly favor Cain.
Yeah,
in my opinion, Lewis. But what do I know? I don't know. It's MMA.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the big question is going to be is Cain on the decline? Is it going to be too much? Because there's something that happens once in a while. You see these guys where they just don't look like themselves, you know, and that's where I'm afraid. Because if Cain Velasquez, if he is slower and flat-footed, and who did he fight? Now I know there's a big question about altitude, but
Fabricio Verdum. So
Verdum,
Fabricio
yeah.
went out to Mexico City, I believe it was, and it was at altitude. And Verdum was out there for like a month before acclimatizing, all the rest of it. And then Cain flew in fight week and was doing pretty well, but then he gassed. And I'm not sure what the elevation at Mexico City is, but it's very, very high. And trust me, if you've never done that, if you've never trained at altitude, it is a real thing. That isn't a bullshit excuse. Now, I'm not taking away from Verdum's win, but trust me, I remember my first training camp at altitude, 2007. I flew out to Big Bear, California to train with the Team Rampage when he was getting ready to take on Dan Henderson. And I flew out there and I was already in great shape. And then the first day, I got there late at night. And then the first morning, we trained. And oh my God,
big difference.
It's crazy. After like half a round, you know, on the floor with a bunch of unknown Brazilians beating the fuck out of me, having a field day. Having a fucking field day. It's like, listen, you assholes, I'm clearly suffering from the altitude cardio depreciation, for want of a better description. But they're like, oh no, we've got the English Brit bastard tired. Let's fill him in. And that's what they were doing. But it is a real thing. And then Cain got a little tired. I think he shot in and Fabrizio got him in a nice guillotine. You know, congrats to him. But
it does sound like an excuse, though. You know that from like the fans' perspective, it doesn't. It sound like altitude.
It does sound like an excuse, and to be honest, it is an excuse, but it's not a valid one, really, because they say failure to prepare.
Yeah.
So you prepare to fail or something like that. You know, at the end of the day, you have obligations as a professional athlete. And if you know that you're going to fight at altitude, then you've got to do something to counter that, whether it's sleeping in what did they call it? Hyperbaric chamber or something like that, or going out there early, doing your camp at elevation. But you've got to address that issue. You can't just say, do you know what? I'm always in good shape. I'm just going to go out there and chance it a few days before, because get to rounds 3 and 4 and you're fucked. As I said, my first training session, half a round and I was destroyed. Typically, UFC fly you in on a Tuesday, so you would have had 4 days to acclimatize. That's nowhere near enough, So it's a valid reason, but that doesn't take away from Fabrizio Verdun winning the fight, because that was his fault. Whether it was laziness, whether it was he had too many distractions, whatever it is, fighters always have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things outside that fans and the sport, analysts, commentators don't know about. A lot of distractions, but still, it's the fighter's job to manage all of those things and turn up on shape, in weight, and ready to go.
And also, I don't think that was Kane that ever gave that excuse. Kane is sort of famous for not making excuses for losing fights. There's been times where he's come in. It was the one fight where he had like a really bad back injury, but he still never said anything about it. Kind
of like me with my ribs against GSP.
Is that against JDS?
Yeah, I believe it was against JDS. I'm sorry, Mr. Bisping, what'd you say?
I was kind of like me with my ribs against GSP, kind of like me against Kelvin Gastelum. Like every one of my fights, I had some kind of issue, but I was like, you
can't help yourself.
It's not my style. It's not my style. It's just not my style. Can't help myself. What? Go on.
Just have to suck your own dick.
No, I'm just saying it's not his style. And I was like, yeah, I can relate. I can relate to that. I can relate. I mean, and I probably could suck my own dick. I've had a rib removed now, so I'm good. But
the Marilyn Manson surgery.
I can I did. I can relate to that, but yeah, there we go. We'll go into that more depth in the card in the next show. Do we have any video questions, anything like that?
I'm sure we do. We should. If you guys want to join the conversation, video question, regular question, audio question, whatever way, the more creative, the better. We like creativity here on the show. Shoot us an email, bympod@gmail.com, bympod@gmail.com. We'll go to your video questions if you send them in. What do we got here, Harrington?
We definitely won't be doing calls again. And thank you, everybody that did call in on the last show. But I don't know whether it was Harrington killing the vibe, or the questions killing the vibe, or the lack of sound, or they're not hearing. Perhaps the studio engineering going on kind of killed the vibe as well. So we prefer to go with taped, recorded audio or video questions.
And also, it sounds like we're picking on Harrington, but the reality is he never steps up and goes, hey guys, you know what, my bad, it was my fault, I'm sorry. Like Saturday, the podcast was, or Sunday, the podcast was supposed to go out at noon. A 50-minute version of the podcast was put up on YouTube, whether it was his fault or not, it doesn't matter. He just didn't watch it.
A 50-minute version, and the whole show was 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So almost half the show. And he's like, half. And he's like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to take it down, or shall I leave it? I'm like, take it down. Of course, it's half the fucking show. Half the show. It just came on, no intro. And then me and you were talking about some shit. No context for the viewer, no context for the listener. A lot of people watched it. I noticed it got up to like 3,000-4,000 views on YouTube alone. And then you take it down and you put it back up. Well, those people, those few thousand that watch that, they're not going to watch it again. They're like, I've seen this. We're killing the vibe.
And then he doesn't even say.
We're killing the vibe.
He doesn't even say, hey, you know what, guys, my bad. I should have watched this. I should have double checked. This is what his reaction is. Man, YouTube's really fucking up, guys. Isn't it crazy? YouTube's a bunch of pieces of shit.
No, you did. You did. You said YouTube's being really weird right now.
They're being weird with me.
I never said that, did I?
Yeah.
You said YouTube's kind of playing up. I don't know what the deal is at their end. They're only one of the biggest companies in the world, but for some reason they've got an issue with me.
Harrington's not fucking up. YouTube's fucking up.
Get your shit together, YouTube. You're making Harrington look bad.
Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing.
Maybe you could teach YouTube a thing or two, Harrington. They should, if they learn from your ingenuity and your go-getter attitude, maybe they'd be a bigger company.
after the wondrous engineering that we heard on Saturday when Shannon wasn't here, and fuck me, Shannon, I'm so happy when you're here. But Harrington, I think you should like reach out to YouTube, maybe run some seminars on how to run their back end software system, a hardware system, whatever you call it. I'm not a computer guy, but maybe
Harrington, what do they call it? Even you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'll fix all their algorithms.
You solve their algorithms, you get the engineers, you get the coders, you sit down with Harrington, hammer fisting with Harrington. I'm going to teach you how it's done. Because when you uploaded it, you did it all right. But
Look,
YouTube,
Mike, I will have that company turned around in a week. No less.
There we go.
Yeah, they'll finally start making some money.
Harringtube.
Harrytube.
Harringtube.com. I like it.
Harrytube.
Harringtube. Okay.
Tube.
Let's get some video questions. Every time I ask Michael or
Hold on. Harrington.
Yes, sir.
Can you load the video questions for us? Because we know that Shannon can, but normally when Shannon's not here, we have some issues.
Please don't let him.
So Harrington, I'd like you to handle the responsibility of loading the first video question, please. If you
the show's been so good.
kind.
We'd have to switch spots and everything, Mike. It'd be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a whole thing. You'd have to stand up. I apologize. You'd have to stand up and take 2 steps to the left. Okay, fair enough. You're right, Shannon. Without further ado, you lazy so-and-so. No. Come on.
There we go.
Okay.
One of you.
This is Gabe from Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown. There we go, Gabe.
What's up, Gabe?
Hey, Lewis. Hey, Mike. How's it going? Love the show. So I got an idea for you guys to play with a little bit. All right. So an Ellis Mania event with Louis J. Gomez and Brian Callen as the co-main event, and Callum Bisping versus Logan Paul as the main event.
Ooh.
Obviously, you guys are a little biased on that one, but I would just like to hear your thoughts on it. Have a good one. Love the show.
What was his name again?
That was Gabe.
Gabe, thank you very much for the question.
Yeah.
Killer eyebrows, man. Killer
I was gonna
eyebrows.
say the same thing, but I was going to say it sarcastically.
Killer. Yeah. No, he's been plucking those bad boys. And you know what? I've got a funny story to tell you about something that happened to me because it reminded me of something. But we will answer his question first. I should have said this story at the top of the show because it's hilarious. But I mean, good luck getting Logan Paul or Jake Paul, whoever on. I mean, Callum would destroy him, and in the co-main event, Lewis versus Callen, I mean, would you take on a senior citizen like that, Lewis? Would you do that? Would you stoop so low?
Preferably. I mean, beating up old people, that's literally what I grew up doing. So
it's your forte.
Yeah, people really love to stir up the shit between us and the fighter and the kid. We have no beef with the fighter and the kid, okay? They have
zero beef. Zero
problem
beef.
with us.
Zero
and
beef.
We reacted.
And
that's what we do.
And if we did have beef,
we'll fucking say something.
We would certainly not allude to it. That's a fact. No, Love Fighter and the kid, they do a great job. So cut it out, Gabe. Cut your bullshit. Stop trying to shit stir, okay? We don't appreciate it, but we appreciate the question. We do. Friday morning, I was in San Francisco last Thursday. Got it, flew there and back on the same day with Callum. He had, he had to go meet the people from the university, sign his scholarship agreement. Well done, son. And we get back. It was super late at night. By the time we got back, it was late. I had an issue at the airport that I'm not going to go into. There's a lying woman. I am putting in a complaint. The first time in my life, I'm putting in a formal complaint. Do you want to know? I don't want to say what happened because it sounds so unbelievable. It sounds like I'm lying.
Say it.
Okay. All right. And my son was there. This isn't the story that I was talking about. I was just leading up to the other story. But then this occurred to me.
You have an interesting life. You got stories within stories. That's what happens.
This, and I swear to God, Callum was with me. We get to the airport like 9 p.m. And when you get to security, the first thing you have to do is show your boarding pass and your ID, right? There's a line for that. I walk up behind the person that is getting dealt with, and the woman says, "Sir, step back behind the line. We are not ready for you yet. Do you hear me?" So, like, me and Callum, we step back, and I'm like, "Wow, bloody hell, that was a bit extreme, wasn't it?" And I say, "Hey, Callum, watch this." And when the person in front was done and walked off, I waited for her to call my name. And she goes, okay, next. And I'm like, are you ready? Just being sarcastic. I was in a good mood. I'd had a great day. I'd had a great day with Callum. He'd signed a scholarship agreement. We're in a good mood. We had a real nice bonding father-son day. It was really nice. So there's no aggression from me. I'm in a really
how
good
can
place.
I ruin this?
No. So I'm like, oh, are you ready for me now? And she goes, yes, step forward. So I step forward. And as I'm stepping forward, I'm pulling out my wallet. She goes, you don't have your ID ready. Step aside. I said, no, I just got to get out of my wallet. Step aside, sir. I'm like, well, he's my son, and I also have his ID in my wallet. So you need me to take it out. Yeah. So she was a little bummed out that she had to let me stand there. And she gets it out. She's scrutinizing the ID, trying to do everything she can to find a problem with it. And everything she said, she was like really mean and nasty with it. And she goes, okay. And I went, wow, you're with a big smile on my face. I said, wow, you're a really nice person. Have a great day. Yeah. And she goes, have a wonderful life. So me and Callum, we walk off and we're in the line. I'm like, wow, did you see that, son? I mean, man, you know, what's her issue? Anyway, then a little security guard shows up and he's floating around and he's staring right at us. Ooh. And I'm saying to Callum, have you seen this? I said, there's something weird about this. There's something weird. And Callum's like, Dad, you're paranoid. I'm like, no, there's something going on. And then we get to security. I take my shoes off, put everything in the little boxes, and you push it in, right? Yeah. I'm literally pushing it in. And the guard says, sir, make sure you push your belongings into the x-ray machine. And I go, I was literally doing that when you told me. And I was literally pushing it. And anyway, and so it was, it was a little bit over the top, but I didn't know all those TSA guys, they wear a little earpiece. And they'd send a message about us. So they were all being dicks. And then Callum walks into the thing, and you got to put your hands up in the air. And so now I'm having a bit of fun with it because they're being way over the top. So like, Callum, make sure you get your hands right up in the air. Come on, come on. And then the woman says, you don't have to be disrespectful. I said, pardon me? She says, you don't have to be disrespectful. I said, I'm not being disrespectful. I said, he's my son. I'm trying to help you. I'm making sure he has his hands all the way up in the air. And then she goes, oh, right, okay, whatever. And I walk through the thing. And they say, did you threaten to punch that lady in the face? And I say, excuse me? She says, we've been told you threatened to punch that guard in the face. I'm like, oh, which guard? She said, the first guard at the front. And then Callum was there. And Callum was like, what? I saw the whole thing. Nothing like that was said at all. And I'm like, calm down, son. Calm down, calm down. It's not the way to act with these people when they're being like this. You know, you've got to keep it calm. And I'm like, no, not at all. I said, and in fact, you can tell that they don't even believe it because if I had said that, I would expect security to have me face down on the floor, putting handcuffs on me right now. I said, and that's not happening, is it? So you don't really believe that I said that. I said, and you know how I know that? Because I never said that. I said, and this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm putting a formal complaint in. And then about 5 other guards came round and they were deliberating whether or not I could leave. And in the end, we left. And like by now, my blood's boiling because I'm thinking, this nasty piece of work. Why would you say such a thing? That could have me on the no-fly zone list, you know. And I'm like, what the hell? And like we get to the gate, and there's a bar right there where the gate is. We had about an hour to kill, and I was going to grab a quick beer. And I thought, I can't have a beer because if I have a beer, they're going to walk over and they're going to say, well, we've heard that you were being abusive and you're drinking alcohol. Sorry, sir, you can't get on that plane. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I won't even have a beer. So I'm just sitting there, and the whole time I'm thinking, any second now they're going to walk up and say we can't get on the flight. And anyway, I was being paranoid. And nothing happened. Yeah. But I can't believe that a woman would go to those lengths and say that. And I wasn't going to say it because it sounds such a level of bullshit that that there would have to be some truth to it. So I said, I'm going to put a complaint in.
It's pretty crazy.
Because I'm going to say this though. I am putting a complaint in because that woman should not be working in that capacity if she's got such a mental issue. So I'm going to say, because I was... No, but I'm going to say, I'll say the time I got there, right, which terminal it was, and I'll say, I guarantee there's cameras everywhere. Look at them and get a fucking lip reader, because I said clearly, I only said 2 things. I said, wow, you're a really nice person. Have a great day. And that was all I said, okay? Yeah. And if you get a lip reader, you can clearly see that I didn't say, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face, right? Yeah. And when you see that, but it was almost a week ago, and I'm yet to action anything.
Well, was that when the TSA was on, like, the government was during a shutdown? It was in a shutdown. Maybe they were just trying to fucking. I don't even know. That's crazy. That's bananas.
Yeah.
I don't even the weird like. I don't even know what like the law is. Me and my girlfriend got into a thing getting off a flight recently. Like I was a few rows ahead of her on the flight. She was behind me, and I got off and I was waiting for her to get off. And as I'm getting off, my girlfriend comes up to me. This other chick, like a fucking ghetto bitch from the Bronx, kind of bumps into Kim. Right?
Whoa! Don't call her a bitch, but okay.
She like bumps
Don't
into
like that
Kim,
word, Lewis.
and then Kim was like, she just starts cursing at her, and she's like, "Fuck you dumb bitch," and they start going at it. And I guess Kim wanted to get her bag behind her when she was going to get off the flight, because it was like a few rows, it was like 2 or 3 rows behind her, and the girl was like, "Well, sorry, too bad," and she wouldn't let her through to get her bag. That was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like maybe 2 or 3.
She's just purposely just being
a fucking asshole. So then we got into a thing, and this girl like she spit at me, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, she spit at me. And then she pulls out her cell phone, and she's like, "You don't even know who I am. I'm going to contact TMZ. You don't know who I am." And I'm like, this fucking ghetto piece of garbage. And then Kim grabs her phone out of her hand and just, fucking threw it like a perfect baseball throw.
Oh.
Like 50 feet, just fucking down a hallway. And it just shattered into pieces down the hallway. And then a bunch of TSA agents surrounded us. And they were like,
I'm not surprised. But by the way, at this point, I'm not surprised. That is like assault. Is like willful destruction of someone else's goods. It's
don't spit at me, bitch.
I'm with. Well, you're absolutely right.
You spit at me. That's another. I'd rather somebody fucking grab my phone.
Finish the story, because I was gonna cut you off there, but I'll let you finish the story.
So yeah, then they were like, "Oh wait, you can't leave yet," and I was like, "Can't I?" And I was like, "I just left." I was like, "What are you gonna do? You're not a cop. I didn't do anything wrong." Like I was like, then they started chasing us through the airport because we're trying to go get a cab, and I started seeing different security guards popping up in the area that we're at, and then they're watching us, and then it was fucking nuts. It was kind of scary. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" But yeah, we just left. So I'm pretty sure we committed a crime. But fuck that bitch. She spit at me. You fucking spit at me. If you spit at somebody, you got what's coming to you. And my girl, she's a ride or die bitch. I'm gonna tell you right now, she's a Puerto Rican girl from Florida. Yeah. You fuck with her man, she's gonna get in your face. So.
Oh, absolutely, and I totally agree with that. But Rebecca always says to me, if I'm ever encountering somebody that's like being a total dick, sometimes people just do it for the sake of, they're having a bad day and they want to make your life difficult. They're on a little power trip, and Rebecca says, "Michael, you are always in the right. You're always in the right, right? And what you're saying is totally warranted. But then I swear." And then once you swear, and if you say, "Listen, and I'm sick of this shit," then that's it. Then you've lost the moral high ground. You've lost it, because then then they turn it into, never mind what the initial issue was. Now it becomes, "Oh, you're swearing, you're using foul language," and it's like, no, we're all adults here.
And then when they point it out, it makes you way more angry. Like you're swearing. Like, I don't give a fuck if I'm swearing. What does it have to do with anything? I'm not a child. Swear back, bitch. And then you're like cursing at a person at the airport.
and then to everyone else standing by, because I remember there was this nice black lady behind me in the line, and when they were accusing us of this, I said, "Whoa, excuse me." I said, "Miss," I said, "You were there," because we even laughed with you about it. Of course, she's just a stranger. She doesn't know me from Adam. She doesn't want to get involved. She's like, "Oh, I didn't hear anything." I'm like, "Don't fucking say that. You definitely heard." But that wasn't the story I was going to tell you. So I was leading in. I had a late night Thursday night. I didn't get home till very late, and I had to be up at 6 to drive to LA for an acting lesson and an audition. And I got that done, and I was done by like 11:30 in Callum at a wrestling tournament at the weekend. So I'm rushing from LA to Brea. To a high school, which is, it's a decent drive. And Callum's up soon for his first match. I know we're coming to the end of the show. We'll end it on this. But I'm rushing. And now there was a lot of traffic, so I wasn't speeding. I may have been a little bit over the speed limit here and there, but there was heavy traffic on the freeways. And I was kind of like, darting in and out of the lanes, trying to get ahead of the slow drivers and whatnot. But you're allowed to chop lanes in America. In the UK, you can't do that. In the UK, you can only overtake on the left or the right, I forget which it is, but you cannot, so there's uniform. But anyway, after a minute, I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a big like undercover cop car behind me, lights blaring and everything. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm being pulled," right? And after a second, he speaks through the speakers like, pull over," and I'm like, "Actually, it's a cardigan, man. Killer boots, though. No, I didn't say that. Dumb and dumb. Killer boots, man. No, I never said that. Yeah, it's like pull over, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
You gotta see Shannon's face. So she hated that joke so much. I mean, she's shaking her head in disgust right now. She's mad. You made her mad with that joke.
Killer boots, man. And anyway, so I'm pulling over to the side, and he's following me. So there's definitely no mistake. It was definitely me who was pulling over. And I pull over to the shoulder, and I'm going to stop on the shoulder. And he says through the speaker again, do not stop there. Carry on. Get off the freeway and make a right. I'm like, okay, fucking hell, relax, calm down. What was it? Maybe a bit of speeding or something. It's not the crime of the century. And he continues to bark orders at me. I'm pulling off the freeway, and he carries on the freeway. And I'm like, what is going on? So I stop on the shoulder, and he stops, and I put the window down. I'm like, what are you doing? And he says, just carry on, get off the freeway and make a right and wait there. So I go, okay. So I pull over, I stop in traffic. It's like obstructing all the traffic. It was like 4 lanes, but it wasn't an area where you could stop. You know what I mean? And everyone's honking the horns. I've got the hazard lights on. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, he's on the freeway. He's still on the freeway. So I waited for 5 minutes and I did a little video on my phone. I said, okay. And I recorded the time just in case that I'm not a fucking fugitive and I wasn't running away. But I waited 5 minutes and I thought he's not here. And I drove off. The weirdest thing ever. Why would a cop pull you over but then not get off the freeway? And I drove off and I haven't heard anything since.
That's bizarre, but you probably just incriminated yourself, and I think we should edit that out of the podcast.
No, I don't give a fuck. He pulled me over. I've even got video
I wouldn't have waited
to
2
prove.
minutes. I would have been like, cool, see you later.
Well, yeah, well, no, because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fucking be, in hot pursuit by a cop. You know what I mean? So I did the right thing. I waited, and I'm like, hold on. He's not coming, so I'll just drive off, and maybe I'll go the back roads and not on the freeway, so I definitely don't see him again. Yeah. But yeah, how about that, Lewis? What the fuck was all that about? What's your theory?
Theory, I don't know if I have a theory there. I think he was trying to get around.
Do you think maybe he got a call? Do you think he got a call? Something more important?
Yeah, I think that he was trying to get around you, and then like you pulled over like an asshole.
No,
and he was just
no. He clearly said pull over. Clearly, there was no mistake. He was saying pull over, get off the freeway, and then he just stayed on the freeway and drove
because
off.
You can't pull over on the freeway. They tell you to pull off an exit, right? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Well, that's what I did. Yeah, but he stayed on. Yeah. Do you think he was just trying to He was like, this guy's going a little bit fast and he's chopping lanes a little aggressive. Maybe I'll just teach him a lesson. I'll send the wind up him. I'll scare him a little bit. So therefore he drives more cautiously. Do you think it was that?
Maybe. You ever see those videos where like a cop pulls somebody over and they get out on the highway and then another like a fucking drunk driver will just hit them while they're like giving the guy a ticket? And you obviously feel bad about the guy getting hit, but if you're getting that ticket, you're just like, I mean, how long before you drive away? How long before you how long do you sit there and wait? Or do you just go like, I mean, are we done here? I gotta go.
Hold on. Are you laughing at an officer of the law being struck by a motor vehicle and you're laughing about that because you got out of your $100 ticket?
I'm laughing at
that officer of the law that has dedicated his life to serving the public, to serve and protect, that has young children at home.
Yeah, but you know
what? Find that comical?
This imaginary
you find
officer,
that comical?
Mr. Bisping, this imaginary officer also, he molests those children at home. You didn't know that in this story. Yeah, he's a fucking pedophile. And the shit that he does, he's racist. He kills black people that are trying to eat candy and fucking go home from school, from night school. And he's a bad person. So, yeah, I guess I am laughing about that. Maybe you like pedophiles? Right. Are you saying that you like pedophiles?
Well, not that I like pedophiles, but you reminded me that I'm watching the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix right now. And if you haven't seen them, he was the sickest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. So watch those tapes. Yeah.
Like
no, the sickest. It's not like you're sick, bro.
Fucking sick,
no,
dog.
Ted Bundy's the fucking devil, man. The sickest, most evil piece of shit ever. And on that note, Have a great day, everybody. That's the
Cheers.
Believe You Me podcast. Kind of a random one. We had Kamaru Usman on for a minute. Thank you so much to Kamaru for joining us. We went a topsy-turvy roundabout way of talking about a lot of, I don't know, a lot of nonsense, but
A fun one.
yeah, kind of ish. Well, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, leave your reviews, subscribe, tell your friends, all that stuff. Until next time, we'll be back Thursday. Adios, amigos.